Let's go! Man, oh man, I'm gonna get right into it. Woo! I gotta stop taking long breaks. I gotta do this stuff more often. Gets me more comfortable, gets in the right vibe, the right situation of things, man. It keeps the sports relevant, and I like having fun doing this. I really do. I really hope that those people that have been watching are enjoying it. They're getting some content out of it. Because it's fun, man, and I love talking sports. Anybody that wants to chop it up with me, by all means, hit me up whenever. Let's talk. Bring some facts if you're ready to debate. I'm not gonna agree with everything you say. You're not gonna agree with everything I say, and that's gonna be it. You don't like it? Get over it. You like it? Come on with it, man. I love having this sports talk. First things first, most relevant thing on my mind, Lakers game. Man, I went last night. It was a blast, man. I went knowing that there wasn't going to be a LeBron, knowing that KD was injured. I didn't know Aiton was out until shit, the game started right after tip off. Because I was like, who the flip are these guys? But man, it was still a really cool, interesting game, and live games are always so much different than TV games, right? TV always changes the angles and stuff, so you miss like little minute details. And I'm not saying I was sitting courtside because I don't gotta like that, but um, from my standings, from my point of view, it was cool, man. It was able to see like the flow of the game, how each team was changing up game plan to to be opposition to the other team. Austin Reeves, bro, AR-15. Before the game, the guys I went with, we were talking about it, and I was like, man, how crazy would it be for Austin Reeves, because he's been on such a high, uh, to score like the game-winning bucket. Buzzer beater games are always fun to go to. Anybody that saw the details from last night's game knows it wasn't one of those types of games, but it was cool to see Austin Reeves do what he did, man. 25 points, 11 assists. All I was saying, like, as the game kind of went on, I was like, man, this kid is something special, and it was different to me to be the first-hand witness, to be able to watch it and to see that Ham actually created a game plan for him. Not a lot of people even know who Austin Reeves is. He's got a really cool nickname, AR-15, I said it already, but a lot of people don't know who he is unless you're actually watching the Lakers, unless you're a little bit invested in the Lakers. You have no clue who this kid is. Man, he is a baller. I really feel like he's what I thought Mac McClung would be. Um, Mac is a little more like athletic as far as hops and stuff. We all saw that during the slam dunk contest. But Austin Reeves was creating offense, 11 assists. So he could pass the rock. He was calling for defense, right? They were having to shift some defense. He was pick and roll, he was pick and pop, he was cutting. He could do stuff without the ball. Man, it was just crazy. Um, so I'm not gonna say like I'm all about it and stuff, but the here, the right now, yeah, he was impressive. Vanderbilt, again, I've mentioned it on one of my podcasts here before, that I didn't really know who this dude was. To be honest with you, I thought he was a taller dude. I don't know why. But to get the assignment to defend Booker was a full task. You can tell it because you could see some frustration. At one point, they had called an offensive foul on Devin Booker. They had to review it. They saw that Devin had actually been hit in the face, so they had to like reverse the call and give the ball back to Phoenix. But um, it's not that he stopped him, because Devin still scored 30 plus, but it was the fact of disrupting other avenues of offense. And it's a difficult assignment. Everybody knows D Book can shoot. My man is a scorer, pure scorer. Um, And at one stint in the game, late in the second, I think early third, D Book just going nuts. So it was impressive to see Vanderbilt have that assignment to still put up some offense. I think he ended up with like 16 points or so, and I'll look that up right now. But it was a difficult assignment, but to still get some offense out of him. He rebounded well. He boxed out really well. He switched on defensive assignments really well whenever the Suns were attempting to start screenplay and stuff. It was impressive. It was cool. Biombo, don't know too much about that dude. He is not DeAndre Ayton. Um, I could see why he's that backup guy, but he is not Ayton by no means, and you can tell that post game was struggling without Ayton. Um, Again, when talking after the trade with Kevin Durant going over, Ayton was an important piece, or is an important piece to the Suns. They don't have a lot of defense. So when the game seemed as if it was kind of slow at one point, I believe it was like 78, 76 or so, um, the game was not looking like it was going to be, a high scoring game. So to end up with the Lakers scoring 120 plus was good. But man, the whole freaking time I'm like yelling like I was fuck. Anthony Davis is such a frustrating superstar. I was gonna say athlete, but superstar. A frustrating superstar. I wouldn't say fight on sight because that man's 6'11". I don't know how much he weighs. He got reach on me, man, so I'm not gonna step up. But I'm like, he is aggravating because he's so fucking good. But some of his spin moves, man, going away from the basket, I just don't understand it. He's a big man, a tall guy, right? He's not a big guy like a freaking, a Shaq or a freaking Boogie Cousins. Or he doesn't use his body like a Joel Embiid, which is kind of weird to use Joel Embiid as an example because my man's been, taking step backs and shit like Kobe type shots. Um, I won't say the other guy's name. The guy sucks. But yeah, man. Anthony Davis does not use his talent or his skill that he's got, his physical attributes, the way I feel like he should. And that to me, that's something that is a coaching focus because you're just like, dude, you have to do these things. Now I get it. Somebody sneezes in his direction and the man misses 2, 3 games, right? He stubs his toe at home. He misses 5 games because he's injured and I don't know. He starts everything, right? The man is glass. He's wet tissue, dollar store tissue at that. That stuff that you'd never want to use. He's so freaking frustrating, man. At one point, I was like, this is his time. The game flow was transitioning. The Lakers had the lead. Suns were battling back. CP3, although he looked a little fluffy last night, was bringing them back. Nice passes. Landale, whoever the hell he is, right? Me and my buddies last night, we just kept calling him Player A. The dude literally looks like a free player when you're out playing 2K and you're like, damn, I can't even assemble a team because I don't have enough, points, money, whatever it is to create a player. You're just like, let me get a default player, Player A. You're not even gonna name the dude. That's what Landale looked like. Who is you? But he was scoring, and it was weird because it was not just transition points. Like I'm not saying they were creating plays for him, man, because you could tell zero offense was going to their post last night. Zero for the Phoenix Suns. Terrence Ross, TJ Warren, nice, good support players, right? Um, but Anthony Davis, man, like there was at one point he hit this. He was like 2 feet from the bucket. My man hit a spin move, ended up about 6 feet from the bucket. And I was like, you stupid son of. And before I could finish, he took one hard pivot. One solid left step, banged it. And I was like, that's what you should do. He's got that available to him so many plays, and the man don't do it. So he's so frustrating. Um, but yeah, it was an exciting game. It was cool to be there. The crowd was live. It was kind of funny to me because, like I said, I'm not a Lakers fan, but they like dropped the little stringers and shit, purple and gold after the game, celebrating it and stuff. And I'm like, damn, they really don't have much to celebrate. I'm a huge LeBron fan. Everybody knows that. But it was kind of humorous to me to be like, damn, they are really celebrating. They're going all out. These poor fans. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. But no, it was good. It was good. Um, Austin Reeves is a stud. Vanderbilt's a stud. D'Lo, whew, man, God, dog, him and AD just have something going. And it's crazy to be like, man, I don't want the GOAT to come back and sort of mix that little message or that little what's the word I'm calling for? That good flow of offense. I don't want. It's kind of weird to say a goat can have that conversation. If you're offended by me calling LeBron the goat, get over it. But you want him to come back and be, the 38-year-old superstar that he is. But you don't want him to kind of disrupt that flow of the game that D'Lo and Anthony Davis have. The no back-to-back games for Anthony Davis, I guess I get it, but Lakers are in the win now. They're sitting in the 10th seed. They gotta win. They got some. They have to have some stuff go on. From the 9, 8, 7. But I mean, they're only 3 games out of I think it was the 5 seed or something like that. So the West is real tight. There ain't but like 2 teams on the outside looking in because the Houston Rockets and the Spurs are like, sheesh, I don't even want to talk about my Spurs no more, man. God, dog. Sad face. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting, and I kind of want to keep the conversation just on the Western Conference, although I've talked a lot about the Lakers game last night. Keeping it in the West just because for relevancy of this video, man. It's gonna be interesting coming down to the wire, and to be honest, where the standings are currently sitting, I kind of think it's going to end up that way. It's going to stay right about where it's at with the teams uh, currently in are going to be in the current teams going out. Um, that's how I feel it's going to end up. All right, so yeah, looking at the West, I said 3 games. It's actually 2.5 games, and it's from the 4 seed all the way to the 10 seed. So just going down the line, you got Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, Phoenix, the Clippers, Golden State, Minnesota, OKC, Dallas, and the Lakers currently in right now. The Lakers are sitting in the 10th seed at 36 and 37, so just under 500, and they are 13 games out of first place. But they are only 2.5 games away from Phoenix, sitting in the 4 seed at 10.5 games out. Phoenix is sitting at 38 and 34. Obviously, with just a few games left, there's just looking at the schedule, right? The Lakers have the Thunder on Friday, who with SGA, um, he's got them boys rolling. To be honest with you, like with the Thunder the way they are, with Chet, with SGA, you kind of want to see what's gonna happen with them. I seen a graphic today on social media, kind of like saying comparing their new big three to their old, big three. I don't want to put Harden, Russ, and KD as a big three. They never really did shit but get to the finals and lose. Sorry, OKC fans, your team just hasn't done anything. But they got a really young core, man. So they got a lot to build off of. They got a ton of freaking draft picks, man. So they're a team to watch. They really are. OKC is going to be very interesting in the very near future. As long as they can do something with these picks, as long as they can do something and keep this young core together. Don't get in the situation where they have to overpay these guys. Maybe you have something like an old Spurs kind of dynamic on their team where you have essentially like guys taking turns, making their big bread. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, they sort of took turns, right? I believe Tony made his big bread in the beginning. Tim was sort of like pretty even. Then he kind of spiked for a little bit and he went down because they were like, "No, man, we got to pay Manu." So then Manu got his late jump. And then it started to get into finance troubles and stuff whenever we ended up with like Kawhi and some of these guys, even with Tim Duncan leaving, paying LaMarcus Aldridge and those other guys, really big contracts that kind of like put the Spurs in a really bad place. OKC is not really there right now, so they have a lot to build off of, and it's going to be interesting them come the next couple years. Um, Going down, man. Like, so I mentioned it before. Denver's not scary, man. They don't, as well as they're playing, they're not scary. Their record is good. 49 and 24. They got a solid record. They're solid in the division, but they're not scary. Um, Jokic is a triple double machine, but I just feel like in recent years it's been proven that whenever it's come down to playoffs and they try to focus so much on Nikola Jokic that he ends up having to do so much by himself that he ends up gassing out. Like, and I'm not saying like the dude can't ball. Like he's crazy, man. He's MVP, but might even win it again this year. Between him, Giannis, and Joel Embiid, man, they're one of them's got it right. For my money's at least. But he does a lot for the team, man. So whenever it comes to the tighter series, you got 7 game series and these games are real close together. That's a lot to demand on somebody. So these guys that are not playing back to backs are not used to playing back to backs. A lot of the old heads say it, man. They're not built for like the same like we were back then because these guys aren't keeping their bodies up and doing what they need to do. I get it, but take care of your body and whatnot. But you got to be ready to ball. And Nikola Jokic takes a lot of punishment being a big man. So yeah, nobody's afraid of Denver. I'm sorry. Memphis. Um, it seems as if the Ja Morant stuff's kind of like, getting figured out or at least moving on from it. Um, I'm a huge fan of his. I think the kid is a superstar in the making. Super athletic. I want to see him have a long career and stuff just because he's fun to watch, man. He does a lot of these um crazy plays where he's dunking on somebody, he's got good passing, stuff like that. Like there's always something cool to watch when it comes to Ja Morant. The only thing that really annoys the shit out of me with Memphis is Dylan Brooks, man. He's got this persona. This persona of being that villain, and I've seen graphics and stuff like that, like saying, "Oh, this is the new bad boy of the NBA," if you will. Man, he's just not good enough. Um, if I don't know, I guess if he could do a little bit more, I would give him a little more credit. He is the defensive guy. He is the one that's kind of like essentially paid to get in these other superstars' heads, and it looks like some of the games it kind of worked, kind of didn't, whatever, man. But he just, I don't think any superstar's afraid to go at him. I know he's gotten into it with like Klay Thompson. You always see Klay on the other sidelines like this because Memphis has had their number all year. But yeah, I don't know. The Kings, man, it's the same thing. It's almost like the transition of the NBA is these young teams that are like, I don't want to call it overachieving, but man, they're fun to watch. They have a lot of good things going for them. I don't really know their draft pick situation come, the next couple years and stuff like that, but I've always liked Harrison Barnes. Um, Shit, I didn't even know Matthew Dellavedova was even still in the NBA, to be honest with you. De'Aaron Fox is a fucking stud. The dude's baller, baller. Trey Lyles, solid. Uh, who else we got? Oh, Malik Monk. Malik Monk is nuts, man. I like the kid. And then we can't forget Sabonis. Sabonis, oh man, he's the smaller version of his dad, and he is. I don't know. I like him. I'm a big fan, but I'm just saying the playmakers, the fun guys, the superstars in the making on this team, they're so young, man. And the veterans on the team, yes, they have championship pedigree. The couple of guys I mentioned, Dellavedova and Barnes and stuff, um, from the Cavs and Golden State, bringing in that mentorship, if you will. They got it, but man, I don't know. It's just the type of ball they play is different from what those other guys have like come from and stuff. So I don't know. It doesn't always happen or kind of correlate the same. So it's a little iffy, right? Going down the line, Phoenix Suns. I talked about them earlier. They their whole thing is man, the defensive struggles. They just cannot keep teams from scoring. Um, yes, Anthony Davis is great. I think D'Lo is a stud, but the Lakers, who are kind of like barely, barely, barely making it in, really gave them a run for their money last night, and the Lakers have turned a page. So, um, although I feel like still the Lakers are going to be one of those matchups from hell for really any team, as long as they get out of the play-in tournament, if you will. Um, the Suns, man, defensively, they just cannot stop anybody. And without, an Aiton, without a Durant, like they're not that team. They're actually worse in my opinion than they were the last 2 years, where they actually made some decent runs and almost had, the Mavericks like, backpedaling and stuff, and then Luka was like, the fuck I am, I'm Luka Doncic. Showed him what's up. One man wrecking crew, put the Suns to bed. Bye bye CP3. Yeah, I can't even having home court advantage. I can't see them like honestly getting out of the first round, with not having any type of defensive ability whatsoever. The Clippers, man, I don't even know. The Clippers are a frustrating team because on paper you would think that they would be going absolutely nuts, both sides of the ball, offensive, defensive. They have two of the best two-way players in the league in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Why they're not doing better, man, I don't even know, to be honest with you. Do you say it's defense, you say it's offense, you say it's coaching, you say it's players, you say it's just relationship between players, unit, continuity. Like I don't really know, and I don't have an excuse for them, besides that if they do get it going, they would sort of be one of those teams that I'd just be like, yeah, if they got it on all cylinders, even with Russ, like running the point position, that point, I mean, he's a point guard, but I don't know. As long as they're not running a lot of their offense and Russ isn't taking these stupid ass shots that he did while he was in OKC when he felt like it necessary to attempt to take over a game, as long as he knows and is settled down enough that the offense is going to run through these other guys, then they got a shot. Um, and they have a really, really, really solid team on paper. And defensively, if that's what their focus is, I am convinced that they are still capable of doing that. The only thing is that other people can't be exploited on defense. Um, and by those other people, I mean like their reserves and stuff like that. They have to like be all the way through the team, and it looks like they have to be on all cylinders if they're even going to give themselves the best shot to win. They do allow a lot of points, and that's just because I feel like once they get in that more offensive mindset, they kind of get away from their lockdown defense and stuff, where their emphasis, it's like they can only emphasize one at a time, so it's kind of weird. Golden State, man, I've mentioned them before. They they're kind of weird. You have to respect them as the champions they are. Have to. Mandatory. You cannot take anything away from that team because the nucleus of that team has been successful multiple times. Being that you still have to respect that team for being themselves, you have to also focus on the facts. This year, their away record is friggin' terrible. They cannot win a game away from home. 9 and 29. 9 and 29. Only two teams have a slightly best or worse. I'm sorry, a slightly worse away record. And those two teams are sitting at the bottom of the division in the Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, sitting at 6 and 29. They are only a game and a half. I'm sorry, I was about to say three wins. A game and a half better than the Spurs and the Rockets away from their arena. That is freaking terrible. Other teams are salivating because the Golden State Warriors do not have home court going into the playoffs as of right now. It doesn't seem like they're going to get it. The best shot they have is getting the 4 seed, taking the 4 seed, right? And they are right. Have to do something special to put themselves in a situation of being able to win a 7 game series, taking at least one game or two away from their home court, and they have not proven it this year. So Steph and Clay are Steph and Clay, and I'll always respect them being the shooters, scorers, and ballers that they are. Draymond, still kind of pisses me off sometimes, but he brings that tenacity to the court, and because he does, you have to respect him. But away from Golden State, away from what Oracle run, Minnesota, Minnesota, they are sitting at 37 and 37. They have pieces, right? Mike Conley has always been that guy that has gotten, a lot of respect. He's been an important piece on a couple different teams now. Um, I like the dude, Anthony Edwards. He's coming around. Rudy Gobert. I had a conversation about Rudy Gobert, like kind of annoying me. Um, Defensive side of the ball. I mean, obviously that goes without saying. Defensive Player of the Year a couple times. Solid, but Mr. COVID himself, nobody's afraid of you on the offensive side of the ball, big homie. Um, Prince, solid. Austin Rivers, I mean, he's becoming that journeyman where he's bouncing around, but I mean, he's solid. And then Cat Towns, solid. They got a solid roster, man, but it just I don't know. I don't know too much about Minnesota, so I'm not gonna continue with talking about them. I don't know. I don't know enough about them. I see they got a decent home record. Their away record, obviously, I've said Golden State's is the worst, but their away record's close to 500. I don't know. They're a 500 team, so it's kind of hard to comment on them, right? OKC, I've already mentioned them already. They have a lot of key pieces. I just feel like their youth is kind of get the best of them, but they are proving that they are a two-way team. Um, with multiple players, multiple players. Damn, I didn't know they had 3 Williams on the team. Jesus. Um, but yeah, Dort, Chet Holmgren, and SGA. They got a bright future, man. I don't think this year's their year, but they got a bright future. Dallas, Luca, Kyrie. I don't need to say too much more, man. If they get out and they get a lead, I feel like they're the type of team that can hold a lead. So Dallas is going to be interesting to see kind of in that play-in tournament just to see if they're going to be able to kind of advance. And then again, I mentioned how they owned Phoenix last year, man. They are capable of doing some special things. Luca is a freak, but it's going to be interesting. And then the Lakers. I started off talking about the Lakers, so I'm not going to deep dive into them again, but the playoffs are setting up. The two outside teams looking in that even have a shot, Utah and New Orleans. Portland's not eliminated, but unfortunately for Dame, it doesn't look like they're going to have a shot. But New Orleans and Utah, I don't know. That's why I personally feel like the way the standings are currently is gonna be like the way they end up. Utah has 5 games left. They play against the Bucks, Kings, Suns, Spurs, and Celtics. That's a tough, tough, tough end of the season. So that's why I said like for them, I don't know. I don't think this is it. Pelicans have the Hornets, Clippers, Blazers, Warriors, and Nuggets. So I mean, that's not a walk in the park either, man. I mean, they could they're the Hornets are favored by 9. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's safe to assume that the Clippers will be favored. The Blazers, I don't know, they'll probably be right even. The Warriors are gonna be favored, and the Nuggets are gonna be favored. So they're only favored in maybe one game for the rest of the year. So that schedule doesn't look too favorable. So it doesn't look well. It doesn't look good for the Pelicans. Um, while the Lakers sitting at the 10th spot have the Thunder on Friday, Bulls, and Timberwolves. I would like to think again from what I saw last night, those are going to be 50-50 games, but I would say winning at least 2 of the last 4 is probably going to lock in that 10 seed. So um, it, I guess we'll see what happens from Friday or tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. But anyways, man, that's the Western Conference and a wrap up. I'm gonna start pushing some more of these videos out, man. I'm really excited to still keep this going. Love the support that I have had, so please continue to like, support, man. I just appreciate everything, and to be honest with you, even if I'm sitting here talking to myself for 30 minutes, it's fun, man. It's fun. I got a few viewers. I don't get to talk to everybody every day, but everybody gets to see kind of my take on a lot of things. Super analytic, and I want to keep it that way. By all means, bring what you have to the table. Let's open up some new discussions. Let's talk about some things. If I miss some stuff, by all means, I'm human, so it is what it is. But go ahead and bring it to the table, man. I'd love to bring some live conversations, or even bring some talking points that anybody else wants to talk about, man. Because it's always going to be uh, this is gonna stay fun to me. It's not gonna be short lived. I'm gonna continue this, and yeah, I look forward to everything to come. But for now, y'all take it easy, man. I appreciate all the support, the love, and y'all take care. Like and share my links, please and thank you. I'm just kidding, y'all. Take care.